हेलो हाय आदाब और सत श्री अकाल। एक बार फिर से आ गया हूं मैं आप लोगों के बीच, आपका हमारा RJ अभिनव 90.4 मेगाहर्ट्ज कम्युनिटी रेडियो ज्ञानवाणी यानी कि ज्ञान की वाणी पर। आज मेरे साथ एक और शख्सियत है जिनका मैं स्पेशली वेलकम कर रहा हूं और उनसे काफी सारी बातें हम करेंगे, क्योंकि अब एक सब्जेक्ट और एक टॉपिक आ चुका है, एक थीम है जो काफी ज्यादा बूम कर रही है इन दोनों, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस। स्पेशली मैं इस मुद्दे पर ही आया हूं चर्चा करने के लिए, बातचीत करने के लिए। उनका इंट्रोडक्शन आप लोगों से कराता हूं और इसके बाद सवाल करेंगे हम एलेक्स सर से। उनका फुल नेम है एलेक्जेंड्रियो और स्पेशली वो एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर हैं फाइनेंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी और हेल्थ केयर टेक्नोलॉजी के VPSM विजय पाटिल स्कूल ऑफ मैनेजमेंट में। इसके अलावा वो और भी बहुत सारी काबिलियत रखते हैं। वो है फिनटेक, स्ट्रेटेजिक कंसल्टिंग, पेमेंट सॉल्यूशंस, वेल्थ टेक, PAAS, PAS, SaaS, SAS, AI and deep learning, strategic alliances, business behavioral psychology। So definitely और भी काफी सारी चीजें हैं, लेकिन मैं आप लोगों के पास कुछ लेकर आया हूं। आज हम उनका वार्म वेलकम करते हैं नो योर डिपार्टमेंट में और उनसे करते हैं चंद सवालात आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के बारे में। सर गुड आफ्टरनून, कैसे हैं आप?
वेरी गुड आफ्टरनून अभिनव, थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू सो मच।
Okay, it's my pleasure. Okay, there is a first question. How can artificial intelligence AI technologies be effectively integrated into management practices to enhance decision-making process and overall organizational efficiency?
Okay. To start with the question, I just wanted to tell you, like, you know, the artificial intelligence is widely talked about, right? Now, before answering your question, like, जो आपने पूछा था सवाल, like, you know, management में, like, कैसा, like, processing में, like, you know, we can use it better. Before that, what I wanted to touch upon is that what is AI basically?
What is AI?
What is basically? You know, people say, what is AI? Right? You know, without knowing that, like, you know,
you should tell them.
So, if you ask me what is AI, like, you know, AI is a very broader umbrella term. Okay. So there's so many, you know, things within AI. Like, for example, we're talking about machine learning. We are talking about, like, natural language processing, NLP. We are also talking about computer visions.
Yes, you're right.
Right, and we also talk about expert systems, neural network, deep learning, robotics, right?
AR, VR.
Yeah, reinforcement learning. So all these terminologies put together is artificial intelligence.
Oh yes, definitely.
To start with, like, you know, to basic understanding, we use even algorithms. Right, and earlier, like, what we used to do in to buy a stock and go to an advisor. Now the advisor can actually, like, you know, streamline how to buy a stock, when to sell a stock, which one to buy, which category to buy, right? Automations, basically what we say, right? So from there, right, even recognizing your voice and changing your voice, the quality, right, and filtering. Today what we are talking, it can actually, I can speak like Shah Rukh Khan, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So there's so many things that we are talking about.
You're sounding like him actually.
Oh really? I don't think so. I mean, like, I guess, like, I mean, so to go back to your questions, Abhinav, right, identifying the key use cases is very critical, like, in management, especially when it comes to the data sets, right?
Okay, yes.
So, in management practice, especially to start with the data that we have today, right? Like, you know, earlier we use SPSS, you know, to our basic research and stuff like that, like, and then when we started getting into Python, right, R coding, right? So identifying the key use cases critical in the management, number one. Number two, data collection, we can use it critically, right? And the quality of data can be verified, right? And select the right AI tools, right? And we can use some customization and training. These are the key critical points. There are several other things we can use for change management, giving employee training.
Okay,
right? The modules can be, you know, properly scheduled.
Surely.
And we can automate it, you know, the training part, right? And we also have something very widely spoken about, data security and privacy. Right? Because if you see the data protection today, it is very critical.
Most important part actually, is the privacy.
I mean, it's everywhere. Even recently, a few of these cases which is coming up.
The Mark Zuckerberg also?
A few days back, NCPI. Right, so there was like, you know, somebody who has been using the critical data which is available in Aadhaar.
Oh yes.
Misused recently. This 2 days back, right, in the banking. And I don't want to mention the bank name.
Okay.
But, like, in, you know, anyway, they're fixing up those problems. They're checking it, like. So it will help further to scrutinize data security, right? And we can also integrate, you know, the existing systems together.
Oh, okay.
In management. So, like, for example, HR, right? And then you have OB, and then, like, you have so many things, all this management. Now, you want to visualize this, completely together. How it will work together in 360 degree.
Okay.
Right, and you can give it training and completely control. So you can do so many things in management. I mean, there's nothing which is. I'm talking about the process, scalability, experimenting, pilot planning.
Okay.
Right, we can take it to different level.
A huge market, especially there's a huge vision.
Leadership support. Using all the information that we have available, knowing your behavior. There can be a customized leadership support that can come to you as well.
Great, wonderful. Nicely explained, sir, about that, Alex. Okay. So my second question is to you: what are some of the key ethical considerations and potential biases associated with the use of AI in management, and how can organizations address them?
I mean, ethics is very close to my heart because that's my key area of research in artificial intelligence, the frameworks, right?
And you want people to follow them?
I mean, not really. Today what is widely talked about is that when you're talking about artificial intelligence, it's not an human intelligence, it's artificial, right? Now, in terms of precisions, widely used. But in terms of whether the answer is yes or no, in terms of those results, there comes a question. When I use these use cases to the student, if the cars which is tested now,
like Tesla and all,
without the driver, automatic cars, if the car has to crash when 4-5 people are crossing the road, if that's a scenario, which one the car should be programmed in such a way to bang? Whether it should be a priest, or whether it can be a lawyer, or it's a prisoner who just got released, or somebody who is a heart patient, right? So these kind of the questions let ask, because everything is ethics, right? Every different episode. We call duty bound ethics, we call the result ethics.
So do you follow also society rules with them?
बहुत ढेर सारा है sir, इतने सारे classifications हैं ethics में. हम लोग deontology बोलते हैं, बहुत सारा classifications. I mean, people will get bored who's listening to this if I start taking the theory. But then to make the a point very simple, right? What I wanted to tell you is that when you're talking about ethics, right, and artificial intelligence in management, right, accountability and liability needs to be the first things, right? What are we accountable? What are we trying to generate out of this, right? And then privacy and data security again, right? And completely it has to be transparent, right? When you're talking about ethics in management and artificial intelligence, it cannot be some sort of a scrutiny. Like for example, if अगर आपको credit information check करनी है, उसके हिसाब से आपको मैं एक loan sanction करूँ, ऐसा ना होना चाहिए that what is the process, कौन सा information आपसे कहाँ से, right, from where it has been gathered, वो informations for example has to be disclosed. So whatever जो भी process है, when it comes to ethics, transparency is very very important, right? And
but at the same time it should be safe also.
Yes, because you cannot be biased when you're talking about ethics and artificial intelligence, right? Especially when we are using, for example, in medical sciences, right, to make decisions. Right?
Yes.
In telemedicine, if in AI is plugged in, for example, unplug कर रहे हैं, तो basis the data which is available, right, and the kind of machine learning that we have currently, it can even predict certain reports even before it is available to you, but from the diagnostic labs.
Yes, great.
Right.
It can do that.
Right. So that is only to indicate अगर कुछ problem है तो पहले little ahead of time that you are aware of and start planning the next course of action. Right. यहाँ पे अगर bias होगा, right, अगर इसको usage में somebody is bringing, then I put a category to it. अगर आपको मैं category दे दूँ, आप इतना पैसे दे दोगे, आपको ये information मिलेगा. You know what I mean? So information biased in the commercialization of these information.
So there should not be any ethics. There should also can be the chances of corruption.
Truly.
You actually pointed
truly
the thing, especially the topic, and raise the point.
So see, the fiduciary relationship, the medical students who's listening to this will understand, right? We call it as altruism, and then we call it fiduciary relationship. Altruism is like you being very kind and compassionate. In simple words. And fiduciary is, altruism is without any expectations. Dharma. Sort of an example, right? But fiduciary is like a legal framework. I am bound to give you what I have to give you. This is the legal framework in exchange of certain values.
That's nice. Actually, that is so much clear and
organized and clear है ना? तो मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा, when you are talking about ethics, somebody has to be very very clear, right? Informed consent चाहिए, right?
Without consent,
Right, without consent you can't create, like, today anything can be created using, and I can make Abhinav like look like whatever that I want.
Man or bad man or any type
In the
of
wrong places, maybe the right time.
Maybe
You
the
know
right
what I mean? Like, so it is very much possible that to manipulate somebody's presence, right, and they manipulate somebody's information's data,
Yes.
right, and it can affect your relationships, it can affect your
life.
your finance, your health, right, and so many challenges could come. So, yeah.
Okay, great. This is nicely explained, Alex. And now my next question is to you that can you provide examples of successful AI implementation in management across various industries, and what lessons can be learned from these cases?
Very nice. I will encapsulate. It's the questions are actually good, and it's like,
And you have actually less time to talk about that.
yes, it's encapsulate. I'll try and make it simple, because these questions are pretty large, right? So in finance, if you ask me, in the management, like fraud detection,
Yes.
right? Like, who can do fraud, right? So because today what happens is, even a genuine person may be denied bank loans.
Yes.
Right, for various reasons, right?
Yes, for various
So the
reasons.
person will say, no sir, like, I've just forgotten a small EMI, right, and it kept recurring, because I thought I was in, let's say for example, Abhinav, you took a loan. You're a rich guy anyway.
Thanks to you for your wishes. I'm actually going to be one day. I'll be. Thank you.
So when you take let's say a small loan, small loan, and then you moved from, let's say, India to some other country. You're there living in Australia. Good, right? Now you have given an auto debit facility to your bankers over here, and then you flew. And then after 2 years you came to India for something else, maybe a home loan or something that you wanted to do, and that auto debit has actually not started debiting your money from your bank, maybe because your signature was mismatched.
Okay.
Now to get rectified with this, right, it is going to take some time and some follow-ups, stuff like that. So the genuine ones to differentiate from the actual person who does the corruption. And when I was quoting the previous incident, somebody was writing in the LinkedIn where people had couple of similar PAN cards, and two different Aadhaar is being linked to one bank account.
One bank account.
Right. So we can detect all sort of a thing in the future, that who can actually by maybe a defaulter. So that's one example. Second example, quickly I will give a predictive maintenance in manufacturing.
Okay.
Maybe like when the maintenance is going. And the third one I can give you in healthcare. Right, which we just touched upon.
Yes.
Right, in the emergency conditions. Right, like in especially when we have partial or permanent disability possibility in a road accident. Right, and what could be the kind of an impact, right, if that if that particular vehicle could send those signals,
correct,
right, to, let's say, the emergency care, right, they would be prepared at least to come and how to lift the patient. A lot of time the public comes and lift, so at least we can stop in the future that public, please don't touch it if it is more vulnerable. We can give a grading to
we know especially how to do treat a patient, something like that.
I mean it's heavy today, people who have lost the ability to walk, right, from the hip, right, especially the spinal cord injuries. Majority of it is happened, according to one of the statistics, if people don't know how to handle them and how they lift them up.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So if in case these
can be critical,
it's critical. So if the signals are coming from the vehicle manufacturers that the impact is XYZ, and there could be a spinal cord injury, and
backbone, and
so it
slip
can
disc, something like that.
I mean, it can just, how we have airbags, the vehicle can speak like, public, please don't. Please call the EMR, the emergency services. So these are some of the things, I can actually give you a variety of lists in management. We will want the whole day that we can keep
we can talk about that.
I
would love to, especially in the volume 2 and volume 3. I will
Amazon is a good example about the implementation of AI in management in the predictive, what could be given to you.
Yes,
right, and what would and that like the e-commerce space, right, it in itself is actually large. So I'm a part of another tech company earlier, right, and our majority of the AI actually goes into the e-commerce side,
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
E-commerce
I mean,
site.
yeah, more things. You know, there is a project to which close to my heart is that like which model will suit to which movie to a director, rather than calling them and spending them for so long and so much of time.
Yes, yes.
You know, like when we have a database of the models, you know, in one of the company that we have been talking about.
Agreed.
And
We have all the analysis.
we have the potential filmmakers, right? Instead of calling them to their place and discussing and everything, first check on those, you know, high budget movies on so many other casts, how they would look in that particular, you know, environment, and especially with those costumes.
And it will be the result. Final result.
With their actual voice or whose voice, when they sing, how they're going to sing. You know, actually they can see a, you know, sample of their movie.
Okay, yes.
Without spending too much of it. You know what I mean? Yeah, sorry, you were ahead.
Oh, no, please. It was so much nice. But yes, moving forward. In what ways can AI assist in talent acquisitions and workforce management? And how can organizations ensure a smooth transition for employees as AI systems are introduced into their roles? You mentioned plenty of the things, but you can tell us about that.
So already there are a lot of organizations who have started implementing this. I will talk about talent acquisition starting from selecting the candidates. Right?
Okay, yes.
The entire hiring process can be managed by AI.
Okay.
Right, and questions can be managed by chatbots. Right, and the interview can be scheduled. Right, before the interview, the shortlisting can, you know, the interviews can be recorded,
yes.
right, and you know, the video or CVs can be created. So end to end everything, and there are a lot of organizations who are already doing that in India. So you don't need any interventions at all. And the final thing can be actually whoever is the panel can actually take a call on that, and it can actually suggest the panel. Sometimes, a lot of time, what happens, like we believe what is there in front of us.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? We will not actually go and verify. You know, unless and until like you come and work with me, since you are talking about talent acquisition.
Oh yes.
Right. Unless and until आप हमारे साथ आके like, you know,
काम नहीं करोगे तो then we don't know about.
Absolutely. एक 3 महीने के बाद like then समझ में आता है कि यार ये तो misfit है.
हाँ.
अभी क्या करें? You can't tell a person to just leave.
Because actually you have signed a contract also.
In many cases, what happens is that, like, you know, see, in sales, what happens, people have to perform. In a lot of other jobs, you don't have to perform alone. You have to follow the process, right?
You should be a team player.
Absolutely. So, you know, any HR professionals will tell you there's a lot of many duties somebody performs. So we can cut down on all that, like, right? And in workforce, you just mentioned workforce management, right? So employee onboarding, performance management, skill development, workforce planning, and predictive maintenance.
Okay.
Right, so that your mental health is in safe hands.
Okay. It is so much necessary nowadays, especially.
Yeah. So we are talking about lot of employee involvement these days and reskilling, upskilling.
Okay. Yes.
Right. And again, like, you know, we are talking about collaborations, monitoring, and feedbacks, because feedbacks is also important of employees. So we are streamlining these feedbacks to improvise that, like, and also to give them back, saying that, like, where a particular person needs to upskill, you know, and keep them updated.
They are learning, and yes, you mentioned right. Keep updating, keep upgrading yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's tailor-made kind of, like,
brushing your skills
based on your capability. How much, you know, need to be given. Otherwise, everybody's treated on the same floor, call for a training, give the same thing, and they get bored or they're not get interested, and they just want to be there because they have been called for. You know, those things can be curtailed.
Okay, great.
Are you on time actually?
Oh, definitely. We are doing great. Good. Okay. What challenges and obstacles do organizations typically face when adopting AI in their management strategies, and what strategies can help overcome these hurdles? You mentioned about especially the use of the AI in the management, even about the interviews and all. Now you can also tell us about the hurdles.
The first and foremost hurdle that what we are seeing across the organizations, right, in implementing AI, the first thing is very common. You will accept it that anything new comes, there is a resistance.
Okay.
Right, and first and foremost, like, to identify there is a hurdle, and then let's use AI to come over it. It's a big call for companies.
Okay. Hurdle resistance, like what? I mean, from the management side?
I'm purely talking about the operations. Yeah. Okay. So what happens is that, like, the moment when we're talking about the hurdles in implementation of AI, right, the first and foremost is the resistance in itself, right? And even if, for example, if top management decides to adopt AI as a solution,
Right.
And there are the operations hiccups that comes in, saying that like, they're not used to it.
Great.
They may not have the appropriate skills to transfer those informations to the tech team.
Correct.
Or maybe a third party team, right? And they even if they do it, right, they may not be 100% understanding of what they're doing it, and there is a lot of fear of missing out.
Oh yes.
Right, I'm doing something but I'm not understanding it. This is the first level what I'm talking about. This is the major thing that we see. The second thing what I wanted to touch upon is the quality of data that comes to create an AI solution.
Okay.
Right, and that's another challenge that we face.
Okay.
So if I have to use technical terms, I can use. I don't want to use more sound like a technical person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So somebody will, let's say somebody's having their journals in sort of a different platform.
Okay.
Right, and now they want to transfer these informations to, let's say, Google Analytics.
Okay.
Right. So they need to translate that and give it to a technology company in such a way they'll be able to create a solution for them. Right. Now the data has to match in such a way that, like, for example, if I'm giving my data to you, I should be able to give it to you in such a way that you should be able to use it.
Yes, right, correct.
Most of the cases,
otherwise it's useless.
most of the time, like, either a lot of money is involved in transferring it to consumable formats, right, and co-adopting methods, right?
Great.
So that's one of the challenges. And the third one is the integration to the existing system. अगर ऑलरेडी कुछ सिस्टम है आपके कंपनी में, अगर आप दूसरे एक सिस्टम को ला रहे हैं, राइट, ये यहाँ पे वो जो इंटीग्रेट
होना जो बहुत जरूरी है, इम्पोर्टेंट.
आपको एक सिंपल का एग्जांपल्स में दे रहा हूँ. API, application programming index, right, to communications, right? Like agar if in case you are sending those informations up, let's say you are a state government body, for example, or a private body, we're sending those API, okay, to be integrated, so that let's say to a chit fund company, so that like everyday informations about the chit fund company, is going to the authority directly, right? Agar ye API, I mean, अभी डिस्कशन के लिए हम समझ रहे हैं, like, already existing है, right? So when you are sending signals, right, and if in case you are not able to integrate, ऊपर नीचे एरर हो रहा है. अगर आप like suppose for example like आप बोल रहे हैं like कोई आ रहा है जा रहा है, कहाँ जा रहा है, कितने दिन के लिए ये चिट लिया है.
They could be the scams at that time.
One is the fraud, the other one is like slow down हो जाता है कभी-कभी, employees बोर हो जाता है, यार ये क्या है, सिस्टम इतना स्लो है, राइट, इसलिए बहुत सारा प्रॉब्लम्स हो जाता है. सो मेनी इंटीग्रेशंस में व्हेन यू आर इंटीग्रेटिंग टू सिस्टम और अडॉप्शन,
इट कैन वर्क ब्यूटीफुली, इनक्रेडिबली, इट्स सो मच फास्ट, मशीन लर्निंग. बट
ये लेवल तक पहुंचने के लिए लाइक इतना सारा सपोर्ट हमें चाहिए, डेटा इंटीग्रेशंस, राइट, एंड देन लाइक mindset of the people.
Yes.
Very critical. Yes. There were discussions even in the medical AI conferences few years back where I was there, and people were discussing, one of the topic was like, will it change or will it challenge, something similar to that,
job reductions,
technically about the medical jobs. And I was surprised, right, there are certain things it is not critically, it cannot replace a relationship, like it cannot replace the relationship, right, that we have, the human touch. We are
emotions, it can't replace.
Certainly not, right. And why I'm bringing that, the challenge here is that like the mindset of acceptance and where to accept,
yes, definitely,
right, and how much to accept, how ethical, we discuss that,
because from the city, actually like my city, from the city of the Agra, it can be different from the city of the Mumbai or Delhi.
Absolutely.
So the people, they are not accepting in Agra, but in the Mumbai or Delhi, they are accepting it like that, rapidly. So it can also vary.
There is one more major challenge which I am seeing forcing is the talents. We do not have too much of professionals in this. As much as the requirement is there, we need more professionals.
Yes.
So there is a lot of jobs going to get created basis this, but we do not have much of professionals. The cost is another factor, right? To get into everybody's cup of tea, it's going to take time. Right, I'm talking about larger solutions. Like maybe in media, for example, right? Like to bring in AI. Without an actor and actress and music director,
you can't do anything. You can work like like we are using the VFX or
You can do everything. You can launch a movie.
We can launch a movie.
Right now. So how ethical right? Who is going to check that up? Like, so many things are there, because when I'm talking about, like, there is plagiarism issue. Somebody can copy your content.
Okay, yes.
Right? And somebody can copy your voice, right?
Correct.
Your face. So you're so handsome. Right,
Okay.
you can actually be,
Thank you
casting
so
a vote.
much.
So suppose
So
you
kind of-
imagine, like, you acted in something, or perhaps they took your face and created a hero.
And they are also not giving me the money for that.
Yeah,
They're using my face and my name.
Absolutely. And the lot of cases in between we saw, right,
Okay.
that, like, people used AI and used tunes.
In the Karnataka, actually, they made a news anchor.
Okay.
From the AI.
Okay, I know.
So it is a news anchor of the AI.
This-
Yeah, she's working.
I can share with you some of those applications where you can create music, right, and you can create your avatars.
Avatars.
Right, and
I
you,
love that.
I mean, amazing it is. Like, you can put your thought when you're, like, sad, happy, right, or joyful. You can put your thought, and it can throw up, like, colorful paintings for you.
Oh my God.
So many things are there to just start with what AI can do. But yeah, it
So
have to be measured.
it is also good in your view, no? I mean, it is so much good.
Yeah,
so
I
much
mean,
possibilities.
I mean, obviously, like, at the end of the day, like, if something is going to get a meaningful results output, right? I mean, why not? Right? I mean, we need all these things. We can save a lot of people from road accident.
Yes.
We can actually entertain a lot of people for shorter period. Even when they're traveling with a good music.
Yes, with the
right?
good
And
music.
we can predict and the fraudsters. We can cap all the the leakages, so the watertight compliance is there.
Oh, great,
right?
great.
And we can keep our families, the old parents, safe, much safer
Much more safer.
at home, right? And we can predict, like, the climate, which is the widely talked about.
So do we have
Sustainability.
the technology,
Of course, yes.
for that.
Yes,
in
of course.
India.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Of course,
Okay,
yes.
great.
Of course, yes. Like, we do have a lot of them now coming out, and we have all these electronic vehicle companies verifying on the carbon footprints, right?
Great.
A lot of things are happening. The industries like to verify their carbon footprints, right? The technology has been widely used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So wonderfully, nicely explained and very well, beautifully explained, Alex. Thank you so much for being here with us in Know Your Department. तो आज काफी सारी जो उन बातों के बारे में हम लोगों ने बात की, वो जो चर्चा की, especially it was a nice discussion because you wanted to know about the artificial intelligence, its boom, its emergence, and how it will affect in your life, be it in any sector. और हम लोग आप लोगों से मिलेंगे CPR Campus Radio में और भी काफी सारे shows में. Thank you so much and thank you so much, Alex,
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
with us.
Thank you so much, Abhinav. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Yes.
So energetic.